Hi everyone, this is Gretchen at the Hotchkiss Library with your Book Buzz January 2022 for new fiction, what we have on the shelves here at the American Legion. I'm going to start with a wonderful literary novel, Bibliopsy by Gina Apostol. She is considered the finest writer from the Philippines. This is actually her first novel from 1997 that has never appeared in the United States before. And it is a look at a woman dealing with life in the brutal regime of Ferdinand Marcos. So I recommend you take a look at this. There was a lot of excitement about this book coming out. Subsequent novels of her have appeared, including the most recent one, which was called The Revolution According to Raimundo Mata. So take a look at Gina Apostol's novel, Bibliopsy. I have a historical novel, which sounds really good to me. On the cover, it says, "A feast of royal fiction that will absolutely sweep you away, Antoinettes Sister by Diana Giovinazzo." And this is the story of Maria Carolina Charlotte, who was the 10th daughter and one of 16 children of Empress Maria Theresa of Austria, the Habsburg ruler. She had an older sister who was named Josepha, who was in line to and set to marry King Ferdinand of the Kingdom of Naples, Ferdinand IV. She unfortunately came down with smallpox, I think as she was even traveling to Naples to marry him. And the next sister in line was then forced to marry Ferdinand, who, as history tells us, was a rather uncouth, unappealing man. And this is the story of that sister and life in Habsburg-ruled Naples. So, again, Antoinette's Sister, if you like some good historical fiction. I have James Patterson's next book. I have to admit, I'm not a big reader of James Patterson, but I think I'm definitely going to be reading The Horsewoman, which he has written with Mike Lupica, the well-known sports writer, who lives in Connecticut. And this is a book about a mother and her adult daughter who are both vying for spots on the Olympic equestrian stadium jumping team, and their relationship and the pressure of high stakes, high money, very high level equestrian sport. The Horsewoman by James Patterson and Mike Lupica. A lot of good mysteries and thrillers to get us through the winter. I don't know if you all remember a book from the 90s, a book that I absolutely loved called Snow Falling on Cedars by David Gutterson. He has his first courtroom drama since that book came out called The Final Case, which has received some nice buzz. So if you are a fan of Snow Falling on Cedars, you might like to take a look at Gutterson's latest, The Final Case. And I have a book that's gotten a lot of buzz from the author of The Wife, Alifair Burke, and her new book is Find Me. And this is the story of a woman who had disappeared 15 years prior to the beginning of the book with amnesia when she's found and has no recollection of her past life. Her previous life still, after 15 years, is not evident to her. And she uproots her life yet again after starting over after the amnesia and moves to the Hamptons. And this some shady dealings in her family's past catch up with her, and there may be a connection to a murder far away previously that may have something to do with what happened to her and what caused her amnesia. So Find Me sounds like a good one that I'm sure will be an HBO miniseries before you know it. And we have the very hefty next Linley detective novel from Elizabeth George, Something to Hide, set in London as this series is, with Detective Chief Superintendent Thomas Linley. And this is dealing with North London's Nigerian community and crimes that have happened there. She's a very well-respected and critically acclaimed mystery writer, Elizabeth George. So if you've enjoyed her in the past, you might like to continue with this one. If you haven't read her before, you can certainly jump in right here with Something to Hide. Next, I have 3 books that have gotten a lot of buzz. Probably most anticipated of them was Hanya Yanagihari's new book, To Paradise. She wrote A Little Life, which was her second novel, and it came out maybe 3 or 4 years ago. She is the full-time editor of the New York Times Style magazine, so how she has time to write books of this size and this quality, I'm really not quite sure. It probably helped to have time during the lockdown to work on this and to finish it. And this is considered, a literary novel. It's also a dystopian sort of alternative history of the United States. There was a wonderful front page review of this book in Sunday's TBR by Gish Jen, another wonderful Asian American woman writer, who said, can an Asian American woman write a great American novel? And she thinks maybe she can. So this is about our country divided into numerous different territories that are not in agreement with one another. And the year is 2093. And then things bounce back to 1993 and then to a third time period as well in 1893. Some of the characters reappear, same name, different person, different body, different life. But she makes all of these unusual connections between 1893, 1993, and 2093. She's a terrific writer. A Little Life was a huge success, and I urge you to take a look at To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. And the Times Book Review also featured a segment about The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine Chan. This is appealing and also terrifying, I think. It's the story of a time not so far off from now in a big brother-like United States where parents of children who can be taken away very quickly and sent to a school for a year, which is really sort of a prison, a reform institution, as punishment for very slight things that may have been done to their children. For example, they might have jumped out of the car to go mail a letter in the mailbox and left their child in the car for just a minute or two. Very slight things that, probably many of us have done, and metaphorically really examining the pressure of parenthood and specifically motherhood in the United States today. The School for Good Mothers. Sounds really good for a winter read. And lastly, I have Noah Hawley's new novel, Anthem. He is a showrunner on a number of television shows, and he's also written a bunch of best-selling novels. He created the TV show Fargo, actually, and his last bestseller was Before the Fall. And this is also sort of a dystopian thriller dealing with something nefarious happening to teenagers across America that spreads through memes on the internet and only they can parse. It says here, Hawley's new novel is an adventure that finds unquenchable lights in dark corners, unforgettably vivid characters, and a plot as fast and bright as pop cinema blend an Vonnegutian story that is as timeless as a grim fairy tale. What more could you want? A little escapism now. Anthem might be just the thing. So come on into the Legion. We're here our full regular hours. No appointment is necessary. We do ask you to wear a mask, please. And come in to browse, come in to use a computer, come in to say hello. If you'd rather not come inside, please call us and we can have the books waiting for you outside or bring them to you outside. Thanks so much and happy reading. Bye-bye.